What's up? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I feel like it's timely to talk about something related to the 2020 election. And so, specifically, I just wanted to talk a bit about Joe Biden and why, he just more about his character, like, regardless of, his political stance. Like, I don't want to make this political at all. Um, because to be completely honest with you, I don't know anywhere near as much to give myself the right to, you know, throw my opinions out there to the public. Like, I know nothing. And also, I'm Italian, so I can't even vote anyway. So, like, why would you listen to me? But what I can say or talk about is people's character, right? And so, specifically, Joe Biden, you know, I I only knew him as the vice president of the United States under Barack Obama. Um, Before all of this, to be completely honest with you guys, I wasn't like, oh yeah, I heard like in the 1980s he like, I don't know anything about, what he did specifically in his background. Um, but now that he's resurfacing in a lot of different, because I mean he's everywhere because he's the president now, but in the lead up to this, I just also like watched a bit a bit online, like some of his interviews outside of like election processes, just to analyze him as a character. Like, who is this potential candidate, now president? And learning more about him was, man, like it this guy put so much perspective into me. Because he's just the honestly, I aspire to be someone like Joe Biden. Not saying I'm gonna run for anything politics related, but this guy is an example of someone who got hit in the face so many times and so deeply. This guy, we're talking about a guy with so many emotional wounds, from deaths of family members that, you know, a lot of people wouldn't come back from. And, you know, the question that came to mind is like, this guy's been through so much. How does he still have it in him to keep going and reach a goal that, like, the president of the United States of America, I would argue, is one of the biggest things that you could, one of the biggest objectives that you could accomplish. Like, you couldn't tell me any other job that would be as important or as demanding as being the president of the United States. And so a lot of times when people vote, sure, like there's political positions, but like this guy, I was just so inspired by his story, and he he just completely shifted, like rewired my brain and just sort of woke me up out of this like facade that I had in my head of like what real problems are to me, and like, what I think is difficult. Because this guy, on top of everything that he's been through, he's managed to come out, continue, and like one step in front of the other, as he says. And he's honestly achieved a milestone that nobody achieves. But other than that, he's just, I don't know, he's established such a presence, that is inspiring. But in getting there, that's what I can take from it. His journey from, from where he started to where he is now, having fought through everything, it's just, I don't know. He makes all of our problems look so little, because everything is a problem until a person from your family passes. Because I would argue that is one of the worst pains a human could ever face, right? And I don't know. And also his faith. Like, he's someone who is clearly faithful, follows a lot of like, he's very biblical and very philosophical almost, and that he just takes a lot of inspiration and a lot of, like, he gets his fire from a lot of these quotes, right? That were either told to him by his grandmother or, by his parents. I'm just very happy for the USA right now, because this guy, like, regardless of all the good that he already wants to do, this guy's a good guy. Like, and also he's an example. He is honestly an example, and I'm just he's the guy. Like, he's the guy. He's the right person. But regardless of, the political aspect of it, just his character, like, honestly inspired me. Learning more about him, learning more about Joe Biden, again, completely rewired my way of thinking. And the aspect of non-complaining is a big one, because he talked about his son a few times, Bo, and how he was always the one asking his father, Joe, how he was doing and if he needed anything and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking about, like, what I'm doing for my dad. It's like, he's the one that's always asking how I'm doing and looking out for me. And so I'm like, damn, what if I need to ask my dad how he's doing? And, I don't know. He inspired me to take more leadership and to make more of a presence in other people's lives. And I'm not saying in the big stage at all. I'm just saying in general, like in the day to day, like being more present for other people and just complaining less. Because I complain more than I would like to, and that's something I really want to change. And this was just just seeing Biden's story and learning a little more about him just added fuel to that initial thought that I had and that I wanted to change. And so, I don't know. It's just this whole thing. I'm very relieved that he won, and I'm just very happy. I'm very happy. I'm very relaxed that he won. And there's always more to learn about these people. Like, so I would say it's very good to be curious. Like, being curious is such a good trait to have, because, I mean, there's the whole presidency, there's the whole election going on right now. It finished. But, like, as an Italian, it's like, sure, it's good to know about the world, but I don't need to go behind the scenes and seeing how people are like. And I'm just happy because I'm just very curious about, I'm like, dude, if you become the president of the United States, but in general, if you're running to become the president of the United States, or just the senator or anything in the political field, like, that says something about your character. And so, because I'm trying to be the best person I can be in this world, I'm trying to learn from people that, I'm not saying have it together, but from people that are very driven. If you want to learn the secrets to, or, the facts, the behavioral patterns on how you can maximize productivity, efficiency, and success, you need to research and learn more about the people that are already doing it. And most of the time, I would argue that it's the way people are brought up, and the more emotional damage you go through, the stronger you become. Like, it's been rare for me to see a success story without a past trauma. Like, for the most part, like, a lot of these people that become successful outside of politics, like, I'm talking more sports, like, Ray Lewis's story was one that was extremely, like, man, it tears you up almost. Like, he grew up very poor, right? As most of you know, like, because that's how all stories start up. Like, oh, I started poor, I had nothing. But also, his father left him, and so he had like an adopted father. I don't know what the term is, but his mom was with another boyfriend, and this guy abused his mother, like, every day. And so Ray Lewis was too small at the time, but over time he worked out for football, of course, but mainly to protect his mom, and that's what he said. And so, at the root of it, your why, like your fire that pushes you, if it's linked to something that you truly care about, like if it's your mother, for example, like, you're going to go harder than anybody. And Joe Biden is another example of this. And, I can't say what his why is because, I don't know. But given his past trauma that he's experienced with the loss of family members, I would argue that his root, like his why, is very loud and clear. And you can tell by the way he projects himself during speeches and just in general. He's so empathetic towards other people. And that is just so inspiring for me to see. And I haven't seen it in such a long time because all I've been seeing is like Donald Trump, right? And I'm just like relieved to see that it's possible for people to be empathetic of one another again. I felt like in these 4 years, like it was sort of lost. Just learning more about Joe Biden and his background, it's truly like a life story, a life lesson, analyzing these people and these emblems of society now, seeing their come up, what they've gone through. Your problems are only big if you see them from the lens of your own perspective. When you start comparing your problems to other people's problems, as much as you compare the likes and all the other shit that you compare, you'll realize how real other people's problems are compared to yours. It's all about perspective and being reminded of the roof of problems. Some people's roofs are higher. The intensity of people's problems differ. And so if you're able to realize that your problems may not be as bad as other people's problems, it should inspire you not to give up even more. And so that's just something that was on my mind, on my chest, that I needed to get out, especially now that we're during the election. It's all over finally. We have our winner, Joe Biden, 46th American president, and Kamala Harris as vice president. She broke so many other records, first woman of color, and so many more. And I'm just excited for the rebirth and the healing of the USA. But I'm also so thankful that, I looked into, a bit more about Joe Biden, because it really rewired the way that I think, and he set a very good impression on me that very few people do, just given everything. And so, yeah, he's just such an inspiring character, and I truly, honestly want to get on the same trajectory that, he went on in terms of mentality and not giving up and not complaining. That's just things that I want to improve in my life. So yeah, that's it. That was my little talk. If you guys like this stuff, make sure to subscribe. I just make videos off the top of my head pretty much whenever I'm feeling something, right? And I'm trying to post more consistently now. The month of November will be jam-packed with videos. I'm scheduling them. And if you do subscribe and I see you guys in the next one, then I'll see you guys in the next one.